ode to people who don't believe in themselves. And you're alive, and your inner landscape is a fascinating world to explore. And over a long enough time horizon, most people get what they deserve. An ode to people who don't believe in themselves. What comes first, belief or action? Do you need to believe that you can do a thing before you can do it? Fake it until you make it is one option, but incredibly hard if you're introspective and have low self-belief and high standards. So what about make it until you believe it? Here are some lessons that I've learned. Ultimately, you can get to a place that you'd be very surprised by, regardless of how motivated you feel to get there. Like, the world really only knows the actions that you take. It doesn't know about the internal state until that then shows up in the way that you actually perform. So, yeah, some things to keep in mind. Number one, don't grip life so tightly. Being too serious creates a kind of brittle fragility, which a playful attitude insulates you against. Your goal is dynamic persistence over the long term. And taking things seriously gives you a huge advantage in bursts, but chronic seriousness makes you rigid. When you're doing something that you love or something that you hate or something that's in between, what would this be like if it was 10% more enjoyable? Matthew McConaughey said, make a sense of humor your default emotion. Number two, don't be so worried about winning that you forget what winning is supposed to feel like. Is your presiding feeling when things go well one of happiness and satisfaction, or one of relief? Is it joy, or simply the abatement of fear? And after a while of winning, you realize that how you win is more important than if you win. How you feel during the event is more important than the outcome of the event. You can't be so terrified of failing that even the act of winning is made miserable. And number three, it's all vibes. Ultimately, you are doing things not to say that you've done them, but for the experience of having done them. When you look back, it's the experience itself and not just the outcome that matters. Do not derogate how important the actual process and making sure that you enjoy it is. And oddly enough, optimizing for how you feel detaches you from caring about the outcomes, but is the very thing that will drive outcomes the most. And number four, emotional pain is a hell of a teacher, but it won't kill you. Would life be easier if you didn't feel everything so very deeply? Perhaps, but the only reason you're getting the outcomes that you want is because of your depth of thought. And as bad as it feels, this that you're going through right now is the breadth of human experience, and you're alive, and your inner landscape is a fascinating world to explore. So act with curiosity. And number five, is your goal to survive or thrive or flourish? The world is fundamentally fair, and over a long enough time horizon, most people get what they deserve. Number six, you're doing this for you. And this is something I've only realized relatively recently, but after a certain level of material comfort, the only person that you need to do this thing for is you. Your conscience knows when you're being honest and when you're not. We judge people based on how much life they can tolerate, how much feeling they can deal with and carry and enjoy. That's something that we should all try and have more of in ourselves, being that person that your younger self wanted as a role model